So in our last session, we started understanding about Spring Boot security module, or what is the importance of security in a real-time application. So we are trying to understand it. Yes, every real-time application point of view, whenever we implemented any application, we have to protect our application by, okay, we have to protect our application. That means we have to enable security layer as part of our application access. So that what is the meaning of providing security here? It's just like you are providing access to the only authorized or authenticated people. Instead of you are making our application, we are making our application is accessible by anyone. No, we should not do that. So we have to make sure our application is always our application accessibility, the logic execution, whatever it is, the functionality accessibility based on requirement point of view. So it has to be accessible by only authenticated and authorized people point of view. Instead of that, we should not allow everyone can access without any authentication and authorization. No, we should not do that. So that is what about the providing security with respect to developer point of view or development scenario. Okay, so we understood it last time. So especially with respect to real-time web applications point of view, what is the difference between authentication and authorization? Also we understood. So authentication is all about you are just identifying, okay, verifying the identity. Nothing but you will provide your credentials so that your identity will be verified whether you are authenticated or not, you are the registered user or not, something like that. So authorization is all about the process of determining the actions of an accessibility. So that means even though you are authenticated person, but you are not authorized sometimes to access few of the resources under our premises. We taken an example, something like related to an office or something also, right? So when you went to some of the places, we may be authenticated, but we are not authorized to access every place. So that is what about the authorization. So the authorization will determine whether your access, whether you are having that much, okay, you are having the capability of accessing, or you are having the privileges of accessing that resource or not. That will be identified by authorization. That will be identified by authorization. So that is all. So we understood in the last session what is the authorization, what is the authentication point of view. Okay, so now after that, what we understood is, okay, ultimately, how we are going to implement security implementation as part of a real-time application point of view. The first thing is authentication point of view, what we are going to do. First, generally, whenever most of the times our applications will have login. So whenever we are doing the login with username and password after user account registration, what we will do is we will validate the username and password with our database. If the user is valid, then what we will do is we will generate a token based on the username, the unique user ID point of view will generate a token, and we will attach that token to the response headers level, and we will send a response back to the client application. So that means the request you sent username and password. If your request, your data username and password is valid, whenever you are getting response of your home page, along with that in the back end, you are getting a token also. So you are getting a token also. So what is the importance of this token is, so next time, whenever you are accessing any of your resources, nothing but you want to see what is your existing settings or your existing reels, or you want to do delete your reel. I mean, just Instagram point of view, you are talking. So that means if you want to delete your emails, if you want to delete your content, or you want to update your content, you want to change your passwords, any kind of this kind of activities, this token you have to send always again along with the request. The moment this token sent to the server application, what server application will do? Server application will decrypt that token. So here earlier it is encrypted the username with some other secret key, and it sent a token, right? Same token has to send. Now what server is doing is it is going to decrypt again by taking the, it is going to decrypt, and then it will get the username. Then it will observe the request came from the Dilip 123. Even token also, the security token also contains Dilip 123. So that is how it is enabling the secure. I mean, it is verifying the or authenticating like the request came from actually a valid client or not. So how it is valid, okay, authenticating guys. On every request, we should not ask username and password to prove that user is a authenticated user or not. So it's not a good process. So that's why what we are doing is we are calling it as a token based authentication system. Token based authentication system. So whenever this token came, generally who given this token to client? Server only, based on this user ID by encrypting. And now the same token, what it is doing, client application, whenever it is requesting some other things, client application sending the token also. Now this token again, server application reading this token and found the user ID, and that user ID is already matching with the actual requested user ID. So then what server application will feel is, okay, then this request came from a authenticated client, authenticated user. So let's handle, okay, let's forward request to the controller layer, like that. Then only it will forward the request to the controller layer. In case token is an invalid token with respect to, maybe your token got expired, because we will set some time also, we will see that. So your token is expired, or you sent, instead of your own token, you sent some different token. Whatever you received, instead of that you sent some other token. So that means it's an invalid token. So whenever it felt like it is an invalid token, then what will happen? Immediately the security layer will give response back to the client like you are unauthorized person, you are unauthorized access. So that means it's not allowing to access the real logic, or it's not allowing to access the real APIs. So this overall process will be called as token based authentication. Okay, so let's see more continuation to this today, and we'll start writing a web application. We'll create a web application and we'll start protecting our APIs. And I said one more thing also in the last session. We have two types of APIs, protected and as well as public API, protected API. So public API means where there you don't need any tokens and all. Directly anyone can access. We taken some of the examples like contact numbers, email IDs from the ICICI Bank application point of view also we discussed. So those things comes under the public. So that means without security, without login, whatever the information you are accessing is nothing but it's all public information. But whatever the information you are seeing with your login, without login you can't see, that is all comes under the protected APIs, protected point of view. Okay, so let's continue from here only, and let's start creating the web application also. And here we have to understand what is the meaning of token. So how to create this token in the, okay, what utility tools we are having to generate this token to encrypt decryption point of view, we have to understand few details today. Let's see that continuation to this. Okay, so let's see what is the token, how to generate the tokens and all first, and then we'll create a web application and we'll protect it. Okay, so what we understood, again, the process here it is. So you will have a client application. Okay, fine. Now client application will send request always to the server application. So client application sent a request to server application. See, client application means your front end guys, assume front end or whoever is sending the request. Last time we understood, right? One Spring Boot application communicating with another Spring Boot application, consuming the REST services. See, assume in that case, this Spring Boot application got secured. It is enabled security layer. That means in this case, this Spring Boot application should send token. That means it doesn't matter. So my application got secured means whoever is accessing my APIs, whether it is a Spring Boot application, front end application, Python application, .NET application, doesn't matter for me. So they have to come up always with a valid token. Okay, then only I will allow access to the API. So that means once you enable security to your application, any other client applications, whether it is a front end, whether it is a someone else, some other producer, some other consumer applications like Python application, .NET application, everyone should come up with the security token. So I'll just give you one more real examples what you observed maybe in your career. I mean in our day-to-day usage also. I'll give you that example later. Okay, so now generally what application we will implement here it is. So I'm just giving the flow. Based on this flow, we will create the application. So what I said first, for example, assume This request came for the register, user registration, user registration. The moment it is registration, something like registration. So in this case, can I make it as a protected API? So if you are making this protected API, is it a protected or non-protected? Means non-protected. Public. Why public API? Because it's a user registration activity. For the first time, I'm accessing your website. So for the first time, I'm accessing the website. So whenever I'm accessing for the first time website, right? So okay, let's say do one thing, Instagram.com. So for the first time, I'm accessing the Instagram.com. So I don't have username password. I don't have. That means I never created my account. Now I'm clicking on the sign up button. That means whenever I'm in, see here, the moment I'm calling some API or whatever it is in the backend, while I'm sending this information, mobile number, password, full name, username. So whenever this request data went to server application, in this case, client has to send it. I mean, we have to, in the backend application point of view, if I'm creating the REST service, if I'm creating a REST service for this user registration, can I expect security? Means no. Why? Because the user itself first time creating. So the user ID is not existed in the database as of now. And I said one more point, tokens are always created based on the user ID, based on the, by utilizing the user ID. First of all, user ID is not there. So that's why this registration is first of all is a public API. So I'll make sure it as a public API. Okay, now once registration got success, you will give response message back like, okay, your registration is success. Response. Response. Okay, registration got success. This is what we know that. Okay, now next. Same client again clicked on the login button. Clicked on the login button. Now again, login point of view also, slash login is a protected API or non-protected API. That means public API. Yes, public API. See, he is just clicking on the login button. He just clicking on the login button. So he's just clicking on the login button. So the moment I clicked on the login button, whenever I entered username and password from the front end point of view, the request will go to the server application. Now in the server application side, I'm just doing what? I'm taking the respective username, user ID and password. And I'm validating with the DB. I'm checking with the DB it is existed or not. So that means whatever the backend API dealing with this username validation point of view login slash login which is attached to this button. In this case, can I expect security? Means no. That means it's a public API. This is also a public call. Why? He is just, first of all, he is trying to do authentication. He is now authentication is getting started for the first authentication with his credentials. He is proving his authentication. Now in this case, his credentials, once the request went to server application, there are two scenarios: valid credentials, invalid credentials. If it is valid, then we will create the token. That means now what we are telling to the client application is, hey client, yes, your credentials are good. So now I'm giving you some token. Next time onwards, whenever you are sending a request to see your profile information, you want to delete your okay reels, you want to upload a new photo, you want to change your profile picture, whatever the content, whatever the modifications, edit, delete operations you are trying to do on your profile, while calling all these backend APIs, you have to send always token. You have to send always token. You have to send always this token. So now that means what? Server application now, okay, now valid token got generated, response came back to the Instagram application level, and then you will see like what? Home page. You will see a home page. So you will see like home page. For example, if I, this is the user ID, then what you will see? You will see all your home page. You will see edit profile, all these things. So the moment you clicked on edit profile or create reel or something, whatever it is, then what will happen in the backend is the moment you clicked on here, something, whenever you are doing any operations, then what will happen? Backend level, assume you are uploading a reel. Uploading a reel. So then what will happen? A request point of view, you are attaching the token also. Now what in the backend it will do? Whenever it reaches to this upload reel endpoint, what it will do? It will validate the token first. If token is valid, again, if token is valid, then only you are allowed to upload the reel successfully. So that means your security check is success. Security is success in this case. In case token is invalid token, that means maybe some reason it became expired or whatever it is, then security failed. Security check is failed. The moment security check is failed, what will happen? You will immediately receive a response like unauthorized. So this is how the basic application flows will happen. So for that, I'm giving the flow diagram. So based on this, we will create a web application. So that means it is also a public API call. Okay. So that means whenever I'm calling these two REST services slash registration slash login from client application, so client should not send any token. We should not expect token. Server application should not expect the token. So that means these two APIs are public APIs means you are skipping the security for these two things. Okay, now response came back again. Again, response came back. So in this case, invalid point of view, it's a straightforward. Simply, I said like security layer. Okay, there are two scenarios. Valid means user credentials. Then it's all about token generation, and plus as well as all the response body, like all home page details, everything. His profile information, home response body, everything will come. Response body, home page, so token generation. So that means in this case your request reaching to the controller also. In case it got invalid, generally what we used to do, we will not generate the token, no token generation, simply we will give response like invalid credentials. That's all. Invalid credentials, please try. So in this case, we are not giving any home page information, or we are not generating the token also, because he is not proved. Authentication got failed. Authentication failed in this case for the first time, first authentication. So now in case valid point of view, what you are doing, we are sending response body. You know the response body. Response body means what? All your profile information, all the information. Along with that, you are sending a token. You are sending a token. So this token is sent always via headers, guys. Generally, we used to, now you know the header. At the time when you are understanding the headers concept, what we understood, headers are being used to exchange additional information or metadata. Exchange means client server applications will exchange some additional information apart from the regular business data, business details. So that's why tokens are always exchanged via headers. In any application you go, tokens are always exchanged via headers only. So you will attach this header, token value via header, and you will send response body. Now, I am sending one more request from my profile. Once I got my home page, so I clicked on a button called as, okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm sending something like, assume a backend API is like this, upload slash photo, one of the API. Now, is it a protected API or non-protected API? Yes, it is a protected API. It's a protected API. So what is the meaning of protected API? So what is the meaning of protected API? Protected API means it's a protected API in the backend means, in the backend point of view, this is a protected API means In this case, what it has to send? It has to send request to body plus token. Request to body plus token. Request to body plus token. So while you are sending, in this case, what's happened? You sent request to body. Public API point of view, you send only a request to body. Like username and password is the request body. Request to body. But in this case, request to body and token also we are sending. Now, what server application will do in this case? It will validate the token. This time, what it is validating? Validating the token. So in earlier login time, what it is validated? Validated the credentials. Validated the credentials. Now, once this token got valid token, so again, this in this case, two scenarios. One is valid token, second is again invalid token. Okay, so invalid means maybe token got expired. Okay, or you sent different token, different user ID token, whatever it is. So so on, so different reasons we will see that. Valid means let's assume it's a valid token. It found like it's a valid token. Then your request will be forwarded to the controller layer. Controller layer, so that there actually your API execution will start. So that means your photo will be uploaded to the DB level and everything is good. Then a response body will be generated. Okay, response body will be generated. Response body will be generated. Okay. In this case, what you are saying, trying to say invalid point of view means you will not, no controller layer. No controller layer. If it is accessing controller means what? Then there is no use of security. So no controller layer access, not allowed. That means what you have to do immediately, security layer itself send a response as unauthorized. So security layer itself sends a response like unauthorized with a message called as token expired. So or invalid token, whatever it is. Invalid token. So that means then what client application will do is again it will, based on this message, what front end application will do is they will do again one more time login, then they will get fresh token and they will send the fresh token again. So it's all, you are going to the depth level. So that means request body plus token. Now if it is valid, then you will get response back 200 okay. So status like 200 okay, your photo got uploaded or whatever it is. That means you will get response body you will get the response body. So now similarly, if you are trying to access one more API, something like delete change password / change password. Yes, obviously changing password is a protected API. Changing password is a protected API. That means the moment if it is a protected API means what? It has to send the valid token. So that means request body point of view. Request body means what? Old password, new password, as well as a header. In this case, the token again sent as along with the header also, guys. So you will attach the token to the header, some header name. We will decide that header name later. Some header name. Okay. Now what server application will do in this case? Same process again. First, it will validate the token. If it is a valid token, then it will allow controller layer and API execution, and then you will get response body, something like your password got changed successfully, and DB level it will happen. In case your password, I mean your token is got somewhat expired or maybe whatever it is, invalid, and you will get like again unauthorized, and you will get the reason also why unauthorized. Maybe if it is because of token, you will give token reason, or some other reason you will give some other reason, something like that. You will give the reason. So this is how we are going to enable the security layer, guys. This is how we are going to enable the security layer. So that means what you have to understand here it is you will have always protected APIs, non-protected APIs, but majority of the times we will have protected APIs only. So, but we have to configure which services are protected APIs, which services are non-public, okay, which services are protected, which services are public API. We have to configure in the service security layer. So that is, now this is what we are converting into a real-time example. So that means now our architecture will become like this. This is entire web application, assume client application, and server application point of view. What you are involving this time? You are involving security layer. We are involving security layers. So apart from that, we know basic thing is controller layer. We know service layer. We know, and we know repository layer, and we know DB also. So that means today we are going to involve these layers. So the request first will go to the security layer. This now onwards, because we are enabling the security. So if security is passed, then controller layer. Otherwise, if it is not passed, based on the configuration point of view, whatever it is, then the request response will be generated by the security layer itself as unauthorized, something like that. It will provide the response. So that means today here we are involving the security. Okay, so let's see how to generate the tokens now. What I'm keep on saying like token, right? So how to generate it? Security, and then followed by controller, service, and then repository, and then DB. Okay. So this is the basic architecture. Now we are going to achieve Spring Boot security. Okay. So this is the basic architecture, and here we are involving the security layer now. Okay. Now my point, what we have to understand here it is how to generate these tokens. So how, what I'm saying like token based authentication or token generation, right? Yes. So here in the market in the sense in our software industry point of view, or whenever you are working in the development point of view, we have some third party libraries, or third party concepts, or third party tools, whatever it is, third party applications, whatever it is. So we have some third party. Third party means generally why we will use a word called as third party means which you are implementing as part of your application by writing logic, that then it is your own party. So when you are using something from outside, some jar files, and you are attached, then you are using some jar files or whatever it is from different organization or different application point of view, then you will call it as a third party. Generally, we know, right? Jackson converters, XML converters, these are all, and what loggers, SLF4j, these are all third party libraries only, right? So that means we are simply using the jar files, and we are enabling the logs, we are making all other things like that. So that's what called as third party library. Yeah, so in this case, one of the popular token based authentication called as JWT JWT tokens. And one more is the advanced one when comparing with JWT is called as open authentication, or it is to called as Auth also. So that means it's called as open authentication. So JWT means JSON Web Tokens. JSON Web Token. JSON Web Token. So these two are the most popular. These two are the most popular token-based authentication systems people will use in real-time applications. And I'm telling you, JSON Web Token will be used in most of the scenarios. And more advanced is when comparing with JSON open-based authentication, or up to our open authentication point of view. But what we are going to do here it is, we are going to see our entire example via JWT point of view. So whatever you will see in the JWT point of view, 80% is same when it comes to the 80 to 90 percentage. Okay, one small few things extra will come in the open authentication. I'll explain that in the architecture point of view once we are done with this example, but we are not taking practical in this case, because if you want to do practically, it will, we have to create a lot of other things also. But I'll give you idea by comparing with the JWT, what is the extra thing you will do in the OAuth 2, or what are the extra configuration comes as part of the OAuth 2, we will discuss. But 80 to 90 percentage of concept is same what we are learning in the JWT with respect to OAuth 2 point of view also. 5 to 10 to 15 percentage, one small extra thing will coming into the OAuth 2 that we will discuss later. Okay, so that means our explanation, we will see security layer. That means our Spring Boot. So our Spring Boot application with respect to security point of view and with respect to token based authentication, what we are seeing is we are seeing with the JWT point of view. JWT. Okay, JWT. So now what is the JWT? So what is the JWT? How it looks like and all? We will let's see the details. So that means what is the JWT? Here it is. Okay, so token based authentication point of view, we decided let's go with JWT. So JSON Web Token. JSON Web Token. So what is a JSON Web Token and all? Let's try to understand. Shortcut is JWT, but we can elaborate it as JSON Web Token. Okay. Yeah, sorry. So let's see one thing. What is a JSON? Here it is. Yeah, sorry. JWT is a open source standard. JWT is a open source standard used to share information between client and server applications. Client and server applications. Okay. Okay. So by using JWT, we will generate we will generate tokens, as well as we will validate the tokens. By using JWT only, we are going to generate the tokens, we are going to validate the tokens also. So how it is going to be looks like, let's see here what I will do. Yeah. JWT, just search with JWT on the Google, then see here the website. Yeah, this is the what JWT we are using, guys. This is the third party one we are using. Okay, so we will get some jar file related to this into our application, then automatically you'll get all the JWT features. So this is the JWT organization one only we are using as a feature. So that means by default, one more point what you have to remember here it is, note, you don't by default Spring Boot not providing any JWT libraries. Got my point? So Spring Boot not providing any JWT libraries. Even though once you are enabling the security layer, it will not provide any JWT libraries. So that means we have to add manually externally. That means we have to add the dependencies of JWT like that. Okay. Now if you see here, what JWT is saying is JSON Web Token size are an open industry standard method for representing claims secured between two parties. Two parties means client and server. Okay, so the example also they will give you here. So see here, if you want to know more about the JWT, yeah, it's good thing only, guys. Knowing more about the JSON is about, it's a good thing only. Okay, if anyone is interested, going further, you can extend your knowledge by going through this official website point of view. Okay, so they are just explaining what is a JSON. See, I think if anyone studied the computer science, maybe they hear some kind of terminology, RSA, security algorithms, encryption, decryption, hashing, this kind of things generally people might have heard in the computer science whenever you are studying the computer science, computer networks terminology, security point of view. Okay, so you don't worry too much about it because I told you, right, this is the only work, security layer is the work, one time work in a real time application. It's not like every day every time you're going to work with security layer. No, it's only one time work, one time configuration. When you're working for 1 year, a project being implemented for 1 year means security layer is just like 1 to 2 weeks we will work on the security layer. That's all done. The rest is always based on the secure business point of view, uploading the photos, deleting the photos, relating real, okay, all the things, checking the account balances. So that means all real user based scenarios you are going to implement in a project point of view. Security is just like one time work in every real time application. Even can I say one more thing? In my 12 years of experience, I got a chance to work on the security layer for almost 1 week. That's all. So only 1 week I worked on the security module. That too only in one account I got a chance to. That too already security layer is there. Only thing is one small configuration we made based on the new APIs point of view. I have to make some small changes in the security layer. So for that, I just taken 3 to 4 days of time as in the 5 years back that too. So that much level you will get security work generally because it's a one-time work. Once you are implemented, it's basically you will use it. Generally, what in real-time projects people will do is they will make this security layer as a common functionality. They will make some small jar file. Okay, the entire security layer point of view, the token based and everything. And what people will you do is if tomorrow when you are creating ABC application, you just take this security jar file. Okay, you just take this security jar file. So automatically the entire configuration, token generation, everything comes into your application. You don't need to write that one also. So if you are creating XYZ application as part of your organization, again you will use this security jar file. So like that, people will make the security thing as a common jar file and they will use in entire applications. That means in such case, even you should not have exposure to security code also. Security code also. So that's why it's a one-time work. But important to know that because when you are writing ABC XYZ applications, whenever you want to call ABC XYZ API services, you should know how to generate the tokens, you should know how to send the tokens, everything. That's why developer point of view, we should know all these things. So they are explaining what is a JWT and all. So please go through this information. So what and all they are explaining. See, yeah, exactly this is what we are going to use now. Oh, where it went. Yeah, this is what authorization header. I said one thing right earlier. We will use header. We will use header while sending the token, right? I said I will give you the header name later. Generally, people will use header name called as authorization and it is called as bearer tokens. I'll tell you what is the meaning of bearer also. Okay, so yes, exactly. We are also going to use this terminology in our application. Not only we, in every application, people will use same kind of terminology, guys. I saw in every application, everywhere people are using same header name, same the token name we used to call it as a bearer token. Why it is called as bearer, we will understand later. Simply, I think they given very good theory explanation in this documentation. So just go through it to understand few more details about the JWT. But anyway, let's come back to here again. Now, if you observe here, three sections are there. Generally, JWT token, JWT token contains three sections. Three sections. What it is, what it is. One is header, payload, signature. So first one is header. First one is header. Second one is payload. The JWT token going to be created by using three sections. Sorry, not two sections, three sections, three parts. First one is header, second one is payload, third one is signature. Signature. So what is a header here? What is a payload? What is a signature? Let's try to understand. Here it is. Yeah, header is all about by using which algorithm, by using which algorithm we are generating the tokens. That is what we will define in the headers. Generating the token by using which algorithm. So by using this three part, by using these three parties, we will generate always a token. So generally in computer networks, uh, we have a lot of algorithms, guys. Okay, HSA algorithms. I think I don't know. Even I forgot my education time point of view. If you observe here anyway, you can see here HS256. These are all algorithms. RS256 computer networks algorithms. Okay, security point of view. Who studied the computer networks? That's what. It's a different subject again. Computer networks algorithms. Okay, anyway, you can see here okay, what are the algorithms it is giving support. So if you see here, what algorithms, I don't know why it's going. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, if you see here, you can see lot of algorithms. HS256, HS512, RS256, RS512, something like that. These are all algorithms. Okay, these are all algorithms. Okay, if you see HS256 algorithm. So you just go through this kind of details. Little bit enough information is more enough. People will not ask you what is HS256, what is HS512 and all. Nobody will ask this kind of questions in the interview most of the times. Don't expect. So it's a symmetric algorithm that uses a shared secret key. That's what. It's all about algorithms to do the encryption and decryption point of view, guys. Okay. It's all about algorithms which we are going to use for encryption and decryption point of view. HS means HMAC with SHA. So that is what the full form HS256 algorithm is. Hashing algorithms that uses for creating the secret keys. That uses for the creating the secret keys. So that means by using which existing algorithms we are generating the JWT tokens. Assume I am generating by using HS256. Okay, that's what I mentioned here it is. Now what type of tokens you are generating? JWT token. I want only in this case we are going with, I mean there are different types of tokens we can generate, but in this case we are segregating token type as a JWT, right? So that's why we gave given the token type as a JWT point of view. So algorithm and token type is defined in the header level. So what? One is algorithm and second one is token type. Token type. Okay, this is okay. Header point of view. It's a always predefined value. See, these are all things we will complete. We will convert into programming, guys. Whatever you are seeing here, they given as a just like a user interface point of view. Now, via programming point of view, we have to set header, we have to set the payload, we have to set the signature, and then it will generate a token like this. If you observe here, a token got generated. I'll come back to that. So first, concentrate on the right hand side. Now payload point of view. What is the meaning of payload? If you see here payload point of view, what is the information they are asking here? It is the user information. Earlier what I said, guys? Yeah. So whenever valid credentials, token generation will happen, right? Based on what? In the flow, what I said earlier, based by taking some input of user ID. Dilip 123 like that I explained in the previous flow, right? So Dilip 123 is the user ID. If Naresh sent, based on the Naresh user ID. If you are sending your user ID, that means the current logged in user, whoever sent the login, once validation is completed while generating the token, we will consider generally the unique user IDs. Unique user IDs. Unique user IDs point of view. So all your Instagram user IDs, these are all comes under the unique, right? So they will generate token by involving your first name, your unique user ID like that. So that means in this case, the payload comes with, okay, the payload contains information of clients, information of clients. That means for whom you are creating the token. So in this case, if you go to this website, I mean, if you go here, that means going further, if a Naresh Dilip is logging, then this data will change. If Naresh Suresh is logging, this data will change. If some other person, this will change. This will change. This will change. So that means it's a one-time configuration. This is a one-time configuration. This data is fixed. This data is fixed always. But this data is going to change based on every logged in login user for whom you are creating the token. Dilip IT Academy, Suresh, Naresh, so and so names, whoever logged into your application for them, you will consider their names. Okay, so you will consider all this information and you will create the token. So, for example, if you see here, John D, I'm giving Dilip Singh. So, a token got automatically updated. And assume some other point of view, I created like Dilip IT Academy. So, then this token is generated. Then this token is generated. If some other XYZ underscore ABC profile is logged in, then this token is generated. So that means payload information is going to be changed always based on the client information. So this is a fixed data always. That means you decided let's create an entire application point of view. We will use 256 algorithm and we'll create only JWT token. That means it's a one-time configuration. This data will never change. And even below third point of view signature. So what is the point of third one is signature. What is the meaning of signature is, so in this case, so it's all about the signature. If you see here, you are just doing the encoding, base 64 encoding, encoding, decoding point of view. Okay. So the signature is all about just like you are ensuring. Yeah, this is created. It's a just like some kind of secret key. I can say like secret key. Okay. I can say like secret key. So what is the meaning of secret key? I'll tell you. So you are signing with the secret key. Signature means signing with secret key. Okay. So what is the meaning of signature? Let's try to understand on a high level point of view. Okay. Now I'll give you one thing, guys. Generally, leave about security sometime. I given a value, plain value called as something. Okay. XYZ 123 at the rate hash 8230 something. This is the password value. Assume some value. It's a plain text value. I can call it as a human readable format point of view. It's a plain text value. Plain text value. Some secret, I mean, some plain text value. Now I want to encrypt it. So I want to encrypt this. I want to encrypt this. What I'm doing? Encryption. So the moment I'm trying to encrypt means by applying some secret key. Who is encrypting? See, you given some value to me. Okay, in this case, you given this value to me. So who is, I am the person, some third party person, some, I am the security admin or whatever it is, just I'm telling in a regular point of view. Now what I'm doing here it is, I'll maintain some security key, some token, some security key. That means, assume some security key means some secret key. So I maintain some secret key like this. Okay, assume this is the secret key I'm maintaining here it is. What is this secret key? It's a secret key. It's a secret key. Now, by using this secret key and by using some algorithm, okay, by using some algorithm, what I'm doing is I'm encrypting this real plain text value. So what I'm doing, I'm encrypting this real plain text value. So what I'm doing is I'm encrypting it. The moment I encrypted the real plain text value encrypted, then the result what I got here it is like this. So what is the result I got for XYZ once I am doing the encryption by using some key? It's a key. And this key is always permanent in this case. Now I got that XYZ at the rate hash 8230 value. Assume it got converted like this. Okay, so it got some converted like this. Now this is the encrypted value. So that means now finally your plain text value XYZ at the rate 8230 is converted like this. Is converted like this. How you converted in this case? You used some secret key. By using that secret key and by using some algorithm, you encrypted this value and finally got this value. Now someone else, someone else knows this key, knows this encrypted value, knows this encrypted value. Now to decrypt this value, so if I want to know, assume I'm a some third party, not third party, something like I'm trying to do hacking or whatever it is, hacker point of view, whatever it is. Now a person got this encrypted value. See, this is the advantage of encryption in the point. Now he got this, somehow he got this value. The moment he got this value, what he can do with this value? He can't do anything because it's not a real value. So to get a real value from this, what you have to do? You have to do the decryption. What you have to do? Opposite process called as decryption. So decryption, while you are doing the decryption again, what you should know? Your algorithm. What algorithm you used? HS256. Okay, fine. And along with that, what is the main important thing? You need secret key. You need a secret key. By the time this value got encrypted, whatever the secret key you used, same secret key you have to use. Here it is. So if you don't have secret key, you can't encrypt this any. You can't say you can't decrypt it now. So that is how people will use this algorithm. So that means now in this case, you have to make sure this secret key is more secret. That means you have to be very careful with our secret keys. So now if the person knows this secret key also, then what he will do? He will apply that secret key and then he will decrypt. That means once he started the decrypting process, then what is the value he will get is again the plain text value xyz at the rate hash, whatever the value hash 8230, like that the value will. So that means in this case, what you have to understand here it is, okay, leave about hacker. Now encryption decryption point of view, you understood. So while encrypting, what you are doing, you are converting a plain text value into some unreadable format, into some other value point of view. But how you made this? You taken with the help of secret key. Some secret key you used by applying that key and algorithm, you converted your plain text value into encrypted value. So this is what encrypted. I think we will listen these things more in the movies at least. Encrypted. So when you are watching some of the series or movies, right? So especially something like war related things or something like that, they used to say like we got encrypted tokens. So let's decrypt it. Let's call some specialist like that, right? So something. So now the encrypted point of view, what you are doing is if you want to decrypt, then only you'll get the value. So this kind of scenarios we used to see in our movies also, right? So yes, this is what. So that means now they got the real value. So once it is decrypted. So this is encryption and decryption process. So in the encryption and decryption process, you need always a secret key. That is what key you're mentioning here. It is 256-bit secret. You can see here. I can give my underscore, whatever it is, my secret key, Dilip IT secret. So that means now in this case, what is this? This is the secret key. So that means now in this case, if you observe here, I'll remove this. I'll remove this one also. Okay, so here that XYZ at the rate XYZ at the rate hash 8230 something you given, right? 8230 8230. Yeah, so see here, by using HS256 algorithm, this plain value, by using this secret key, this is encrypted like this. This is the JWT token you created in this case. If it is JWT token point of view, this is the encryption token got created. And here again you have three sections. If you observe dot point of view, you have one section, and that is means encrypted header information, the first part. Second part is payload information. Third part is secret key information. So JWT token will have always three sections. So in a encryption point of view, this is the value. In a decryption point of view, this is the value. See, encoded, decoded, encoded, decoded. So now see, I'm copying this value. Okay, now what I'm doing is whatever it is. So now I'm just modifying this entire content again. I'm just giving something like okay, so this is the token generated for Dilip Singh. So these are all encrypted tokens. Now if you want to decrypt this, copy this token, delete this token. See, it's all became empty, right? Now I'm decrypting the token. So this time what happened? Decryption, encryption to decryption. So encoded token you decrypted. Then what you got? This token generated with this algorithm, generated for XYZ, and the secret key also you can see here it is. Okay, I mean it's not encoding the secret key. Just okay, invalid signature it is saying. Now if you taken this value again, so you just decrypting again here, then also you got this point of view. So while decrypting, you have to give that respective token point of view like that. So signature key is most important. So anyway, header, payload, and secret key point of view, you are doing all this encoding. So this is how the tokens are going to be generated. Now whatever you are seeing here via user interface point of view, same thing we have to make via programming point of view. So that means now we have to write some program where we have to define our header as well as dynamically payload information, whoever is logging to the application, as well as we have to define signature also. We have to define the signature also along with the security key. That means security key point. So this thing we have to implement as part of the programming now. That is what about one of the step called as generating the token. Generating the token. So if you go here, what I said, we have to make sure token generation. After that, what is the next step? Token validation. Token validation. So that means what is the meaning of validation means we will come back. So what I can do is let's do until this step first of all. Then we'll go for validating the token and all. So that means now let's start creating the web application and let's do until web token creation. Then we will see what is the meaning of token validation, expiry, token expiry, and all. We will see next step. So that means now what I'm doing is I'm creating a Spring Boot web application. Spring Boot web application. So I'm creating first without security. That means what is my idea here? It is first of all, let's make creating some APIs. We'll create 5 to 6 APIs, and then we will add the security layer. Then we will add token generation, all these things. Okay, step by step point. So let's create a Spring Boot web application, and I'll create something like APIs. I'll create like this, guys. Okay, slash public slash user register slash public slash user slash login slash API slash user change password. See, I'm just requirements we are taking change password slash API and then user slash delete user ID. That means deleting the profile, whatever it is. Um, slash API slash upload slash reel, whatever it is. So like that, I'm just creating a couple of things. I'll make one more also public API. Contact info. Like that, I'm going to create a Spring Web application by using this 6. Now, what is my idea here? It is we have to make sure once we are enabling the security layer, these are all public APIs and these are all private APIs. Private means protected one. Should not call private, protected APIs. So how to enable which API as a public, which as a protected, and also we will see that. But right now, what we are doing, we are creating a Spring Boot web application quickly without security point of view, like what we did so far in our REST services creation from last 1 month. So based on that, we are creating a same application. I'm not taking any security. Okay. First, let's implement and let's execute all the REST services without security. Then we will see then we will add the security layer. Spring Boot starter security project. Okay, Spring Boot security JWT tokens. Okay. So Lombok, setter getters generation, dev tools, if you want validation and also you can take. And Oracle driver means if you want to do the DB operations also. And then web application, definitely web application. Actuator purpose, whether you want to take it or not. Validation purpose also, whether you want to take it or not. See, as of now, I did not take in security layer, guys. Okay, if you search for security, if you search for security, Spring security is the one thing you have, right? So I'm not taking it. Okay, we will add it later. We will add separately. Just one starter only. We will add it later. So right now, no security. Finish it. Yeah, let's create quickly because you know all the things, how to create the APIs, REST APIs, and everything. So I'm just doing quickly things, everything. I need DB details, right? Instead of typing, I'll copy paste. Hmm. Okay, so DB details because I added, that's why it's required. Okay, fine. Now I can then add controller class. Yeah, I'm writing quickly. Just follow what I'm doing. You know all these things. So I'm writing like first of all, user controller. Okay, it's a REST controller. And then I'm writing a REST service public string create sign up user or whatever it is. Create user means. Okay, I'm taking a sign up, sign in. Just terminology is anything is okay. Sorry. Okay, fine. So I assume you are having request to body, all the information also. User information. So when you are practicing, please include all service layers, repository layers, and even make all entity classes and everything, guys. I'm not doing those things right now. So because the reason is why I'm not doing is our concentration is all about what in this module is. So this is what our concentration. This is where how the security point of view we are enabling security for all incoming requests. So that means our concept concentration is completely in this area. One security point of it is moved to the controller means rest is common. That's why I'm not writing again what is service layer and everything. Just I'm making like it is went to successful something like that. Okay, even I can make DB also. I don't have any issue. I'll make no problem, but I'll write quickly. So see here, user service dot sign up user. I can take existing application also, but anyway. User repository. Again, you have to create entity object. interface. Yeah, I'm writing DB logic also, so I need it. Extends JPA repository, and I'll take like user details, and I'll make email ID as a unique value. Okay, let's create this class now. And then I am creating entity class, and it is table name. I'll take it as name equal to user underscore info, user information, private string email ID as the ID, private string password. So in this case, okay, password encryption also I'll explain you later. We'll come back to that point also. Private mm, string mobile number, private string username. Okay, so you know setter getters and everything. Beta, and if you want auth constructor, it's only DTO class, request class at the rate, no auth constructor. I want all auth constructor, default constructor, and all arguments constructor. Okay, so entity class is ready. Repository point of view, I'll take user information. Okay, so user service point of view, you have to pass. I'll do one thing. Okay, so let's make it from entity to convert it to entity. Like what I can do, user information equal to user info equal to new information. So DTO dot get email ID dto.get password, dto.get mobile number, dto.get username. So I created entity object from the request object. So these are all we discussed, guys. Okay. So I'm passing entity object finally here to the repository save method. Once it is got success, now we can do one more thing also. If user repository dot find by id, and then I'll pass like dto dot get email id. If existed, is present, that means it's already there, then return user is already existed. Email already existed, please try with other email id. Okay, or else if not existed, is not presented, that means then I'll make this entire transformation, and then I'll save the information, and I will return user created successfully. User created successfully. Okay, so just checking user existed or not. This is all. So that means we, as of now, what I completed is I completed user registration. Okay, sign up is completed. Now let's go for the sign in operation also. Sign in. Okay. Public users sign in. User login detail. Dot dto package. So here I'll take only email ID and password. And I'll write here also setter getters. And I'll write default constructor, all args constructor. Okay, fine. So now sign in user service layer, then I'll pass this dto. Let's create this account now. Look at this method. It will come here. Then user information dot find by. So what I can do, what is the column? Email ID. Custom find by method. We know that how to write it, and password. So I'll pass user login dto.get email ID, comma, See, okay, I created this one also. Then I'll get entity object in case existed. If otherwise null. If info is not equal to null, user login success. Welcome. Info.get username else invalid credentials. So please be ready with this example, because once you are done with this basic example, while we enable the security layer light, so you will see a lot of small new terminology, little bit, and new things also. So it will confuse a bit. That's why please be ready with this example from your side also. You can create product controller, all these things. Okay, I'll create one more controller also later, but okay. So invalid credentials, please try again, something, whatever it is, please try again. Okay, so with this, my login is also completed. Then next, contact info, new class, contact controller. I'm taking one more controller. Get mapping, public string, get contact info, return. Assume the data is available in the DB, and from there you are loading it, or else you can directly return. Call plus so and so number, email info at the rate dilipit.com, something like that. So this is one of the service. And what I said next, changing the password, delete user ID, uh, something like this, right? Okay, let's take this one also. So third REST service I'm creating here. API change password means I can take it as a post. Public string change password, request to body, Hmm. Create this class also. Data, public or private alternative string, current password, private string, new password. All args constructor as well as no constructor. Okay, so cool. Now return user service dot change password. Okay, so create this method in the service layer. Change password. User login info. So what I will do, I have to do the update operation, right? Right. Okay, so optional we will get it. User information. So user ID I'll pass. That means nothing but email ID. Then if you info is present, then what you can do is info dot set. Okay, sorry. If he is present, then info dot get object. When what your object you will get, this object you will get user info, and then user info dot set password, and then get change password dot sorry get new password, and then again I'll call user repository of save method. Password changed successfully. Password changed successfully. Is present if not available. User not found. With email. Okay, so update change password. Just I'm checking whether this user is available or not. If available, giving the new password and again passing same. So we discussed this update scenario in the JPA level. We can use save method for the update also, but we have to pass entire entity object with the latest updated content. So that it will do the update operation because already user is there. No insert operation. So if email ID is not found means it says it's empty means we are saying like not found. So I return change password also. Good. Okay, I'll write quickly these two also. user controller point of view. What is the next one is user delete. So I'll take delete mapping and then user API point of view. So in this case, there is no request body, only user ID you will get it and nothing but email ID. And then delete profile user or whatever it is. Okay, so user repository dot delete by ID. So I can pass directly email ID. User deleted successfully. You can do this check also. Okay, so user deletion also completed. Upload reel something. So the rate rest controller at the rate post mapping. Public string upload new reel. Okay, so let's take like return. I'm not writing DB logic in this case. File upload and all I'm not doing. Just simply uh, reel is successfully uploaded. Okay, so it's a public API, sorry, protected API because only login users can upload the reels, right? So that's why we return that. So my intention here it is I return multiple controllers. So security layer, whenever we implement it, it's all about one single security layer will cover all the controllers. That is the point I written these many things point of view. Yeah. So with this, we are done with our basic Spring Boot web application without security. So that means in this case, everything is public right now. Right now, all are public. So that means without any tokens and all, there is no nonsense of tokens. I can access this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, anything I can do without any security tokens and everything. Okay, so what we can do is next step. So just we'll make one round of testing of all above services, of all above services. We will do one round. So just without, this is all we know that until this step. Then once you are done with that means just ensuring like our logic is good, our APIs are all are good. So that then what we will do is we will start enabling security layer. Then we will add security layer to this application. To this application. So the moment you added security layer to this application, and then we will try to access the APIs. Then what is happening? We have to observe. What is happening? We have to observe. And then slowly we will make sure like we are taking JWT help and we will integrate the JWT, nothing but integrate JWT help for the purpose. I mean, we will integrate and then what we will do is we will start writing the logic for JWT token generation on successful validation, on login success, only on login success, on login success. So we have to write a program for this point of view on login success. So next, we will see that we will elaborate step by step process. It will take minimum next to 2 3 classes, guys. Okay, 3 classes it will take. Minimum 2 classes. Tomorrow class and day after tomorrow class it will take, but maybe something pending. We will discuss day after tomorrow also. I mean, minimum next 2 more classes it will take. So that means tomorrow onwards. Now we are done with our basic example. Now it's all about the pending is all about we are enabling the security layer. Testing will not take much time. We will add the Swagger. I mean, we'll do via Postman only. So just like all our APIs are working as expected or not. So that then we will enable the security layer. And then we will see what it is happening. The moment you enable the security layer, what's happening. And then how we are integrating JWT to our same Spring Boot application and how we are generating the tokens. Then we will see validation, everything, logic. Okay, so let's continue tomorrow from here. So the actual security layer implementation will happen from tomorrow in this current application. My suggestion to you is even you can also be ready with your APIs. Just create a regular Spring Boot web application and be ready with your APIs and decide yourself which APIs are protected, which are not protected. Then whatever the configuration we are doing as part of the security layer, we have to do some configuration to identify which is a security one, which is a protected, which is a non-protected one. So based on that, whatever I'm explaining, you can also implement same thing in your applications.